Hi, it's Alex from laughingplace.com here today with something really special from our friends at Hasbro. First, a couple days ago, we received this in the mail, and having seen the toys that made us, knowing a lot about Star Wars history, and especially the way that it was merchandised in the early days, I recognized this as from when Star Wars first came out, and the action figures from Kenner took off and were wildly successful. You physically couldn't buy them. So they sold something quite like this in stores for parents to give to kids at Christmas time as a placeholder. It was a promissory note that you are getting Star Wars toys and that they are simply yet to come. And the way that that worked is there was a certificate inside. You would fill that out, mail it in. They would mail you your action figures when they had more in from China. And so this one, it's all to celebrate Star Wars Day, and it's for this new collection of retro Kenner-style action figures. At Toy Fair this year, I got to see a presentation from Hasbro. They mentioned they're not exact replicas. These aren't quite reproductions, but they're sort of modern updates on them in that old style. In fact, there's some characters, so this is for Wave 1, there's some characters coming out that never actually were produced in this original line of Kenner action figures. I believe Grand Moff Tarkin is the one who hadn't been produced in this style back then, and so he's been updated and done in this style as part of this collection. I think in a box pack, like there's a three-dimensional set piece with it, if I'm not mistaken. Now this one, it's all part of the Star Wars Vintage collection from Hasbro, and this is all in celebration of May 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you, and also with you. So, underneath this, we pop this open. Inside is sort of a replica of that certificate. Now this is something that was sent to us because we're media. It was basically letting us know that the pack is coming, giving us all the information, and reminding us to say, thank you to Hasbro, and to remind you that all of the stuff we're going to be showing you today, we did not purchase. This was sent to us for the purposes of review. That being said, it is an honest review, but I'm pretty excited. So that was the kind of tease that they sent. This is the box that we received today. And the packaging here is reminiscent of the style guide on the box. It only shows the 6 action figures that are in this introductory wave, but I believe there were more than, I think around 12 characters in the original. I see like the Tusken Raider and C-3PO, Han Solo, not Ewoks, Jawas over here. So there's certainly characters on this artwork that were in that initial Kenner set that are not part of here. And on the back is the other artwork. And I know that this is what was on the back side of the 40th Anniversary Black Series collection, which was done in that retro style packaging. I collected that set. I thought that was so cool. So when I saw that they were doing it, I made sure to get the entire set. So opening up this box, let's take a peek at what we have inside. And so it looks like right off the bat, I'm seeing Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia, and these are really cool. So they do have the big retro packaging. These are 3-point-something inch action figures. I think it's like 3.75 inch. So not 6 inch like the Black Series. These are smaller. I should take that back. I believe they make Black Series smaller figures, so not the standard Black Series. And the artwork on here, I believe, is also very similar to what you would have experienced with the original Kenner action figures. One of the nice little details is that the sides of the package look like they've been dented a little bit, so they don't look like they're in mint condition, even though these are brand new, just out of the box. Here's a look at Luke Skywalker, and the backs are pretty much the same for all of them. And also I want to point out the retro collection sticker here, that is a sticker. If you're gonna attempt to take the sticker off, you might want to use something like heat. I tried to do it with just my fingernail. It's difficult to peel back, and it's leaving behind quite a bit of residue. So you might want to get a little more professional if you're planning to try and remove those. Here is Princess Leia, and she has some soft goods. What Princess Leia has looks similar to what's on Darth Vader, and I forgot to do the money shot of what's in the bottom half of the box. So we've got Darth Vader, Stormtrooper, and Chewbacca. Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. So there's the Darth Vader. He does have, oh, that's right. He has what looks like a little lightsaber in there, but it's actually connected into his arm, and you slide it down. So that is neat. Luke has the exact same thing, and the coloring on that looks more yellow than green, and that might be something from the original Kenner action figures. I did not live through this era. I was born in '85. My brother had some of the Return of the Jedi action figures, and obviously Kenner kept producing Star Wars products into the rest of the '80s, and eventually went with some wacky concepts, and then stopped using it, and then lost the license, which, if you watch the Toys That Made Us, Hasbro apparently didn't know, and bought Kenner, thinking they were getting Star Wars, and then still had to go back and relicense Star Wars to get the rights to the toys. Fun story. Watch the Toys That Made Us. It's pretty great. Now, I hate to open these. I think these are so cool. If this were my personal collection, I would leave them in the box and never open them and leave them collectible like this. But this is an unboxing video. I am planning to go out and buy my own set of these, but we are going to open them all up and take a closer look at each action figure. We've got them out of the box, but before we go into too much detail, I want to point out the packaging again. So one thing I forgot to notice was that the Kenner logo is on these. And I went and grabbed one of my Black Series 40th anniversary collection. So this is the Luke Skywalker reproduction. So they're recapturing the look of this old Luke, but it is the Black Series figure in that packaging with the 40th anniversary branding there. And they even did Darth Vader. He came with the backing that looked like the mailer that they sent this in. So that was a really neat collection. One of the things I just thought of too is this is a perfect way to sort of start collecting Star Wars action figures if you wanted to. The reason I say that is because the Black Series has been going on for so long that if you're a more recent fan, or you've just now started thinking, okay, I want to get into collecting Star Wars action figures, the Black Series makes it a little bit intimidating. There have been so many releases before this time. A lot of them go for a ton of money in second market value. So you're really going to have a hard time entering that if you aren't collecting something specific. And even if you are, there's a lot of barriers to entry. One of the nice things Hasbro is doing, I just picked up these after going to Star Wars Celebration. This is called the Star Wars Black Series Archive. And what they're doing is they're taking some of the most fan favorite and heavily sought after figures from the past and bringing them back. This is a little bit updated, so it's not exactly like the original Luke Skywalker in the TIE Fighter outfit that they did, or X-Wing outfit that they did back in 2013. He has a more realistic face sculpt, so he's not the identical figure, but he is there, and they've repackaged them in kind of this different backing, so that it doesn't necessarily negate the collector value of the original release, but it's still there for collectors who might want that. So if you're collecting specifically Luke, for example, or Boba Fett is in that set. They have 4 new ones coming out that includes, I think, Yoda and Darth Maul. What I'm getting at is Hasbro is doing a really great job at helping fans who maybe weren't collecting Star Wars to begin with get into it. So this set is a really great way to do that. We'll start with Luke. Now they've recreated the yellow hair, which is pretty iconic. At Star Wars Celebration, there was a gentleman cosplaying as specifically Kenner action figure Luke with the bleach blonde hair. Now his lightsaber on his arm, there's a little slider here in the back. So you just slide that down, the lightsaber pops out. I can totally see where Spaceballs got the idea for the Schwartz ring, because this toy totally makes that happen. And it's the length of it is also Schwartz-like. Anyway, the tunic here are both part of his legs, so it's kind of interesting. They spread apart and break that up. And you're going to see that with any of the skirted action figures that we're going to look at here. Next, we'll go with Darth Vader. He's the other one with the lightsaber piece, which is right there. So you just slide that down. There's his lightsaber, and then you can slide that right back up. Now, Darth Vader has this kind of plasticky cloak on. Underneath, he does have some button detail, but obviously it's a lot less of a detailed figure than you would expect today, and that is intentional. It's supposed to look like the 1970s toy collection that was brought up by Kenner. Underneath his tunic, he has just normal pants, so he doesn't have the full floor-length robe that you would expect in the film. They kind of got away with that with this trench coat. And the trench coat look continues to Leia. And when these toys were originally released, this is how they looked. When these toys were originally released, we didn't know the family connections between Luke and Leia. We didn't know the family connection between Darth Vader. But this, I think, was our first clue, because like father, like daughter. So Leia is wearing this big robe, and then underneath that, she has something that looks a lot more like the white dress that she wears, except that she has these super de-duper bell-bottom pants, because why make the soft goods skirt, or maybe it was just too difficult to do. Nowadays, you buy a Leia action figure in that style, and it's a soft goods dress on. But anyway, there she is. Now, she came with a blaster. I don't know how easy that is to see. The other characters who don't have a lightsaber have a blaster. The nice thing is they're all a different blaster. So there's her. Here is Han Solo, and then he's got his blaster there. Greedo, I don't think, was part of the initial wave, but he shot first. And then Chewbacca has a very modified version of his weapon. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you expect to see from the film, but it is nice. It is lengthy. It kind of clips into his arm. He doesn't really hold it, because rather than having hands, he has Chewbacca paws. Anyway, and then lastly, we have a Stormtrooper, and the neck is not articulated for the Stormtrooper, so that is pretty much one solid plastic piece for the whole upper body. You can move the arms. He's got his blaster, and then there he is. So these are really cool. Again, I fell in love with the show, The Toys That Made Us. The guys who produce it were at Star Wars Celebration, talking about the toys. I don't think they talked much about this, but I did go to Hasbro's presentation at Star Wars Celebration, and they talked a lot about the cool stuff that's coming. In addition to this kind of Kenner 1970s style recreation collection, they do make 3 3/4 inch figures in this same kind of packaging style, but for all the films. So you can get characters from Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rogue One, Solo: A Star Wars Story, the prequels, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and in addition to the original trilogy. So they kind of do these waves of those characters. Sometimes they do vehicles. They did Jabba's sail barge, which Mike reviewed. That should be up on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out if you were interested. But I believe this is the scale that those figures all go in. So again, this is a really cool set. I'm really excited that this was here. Yes, they sent this to us for review purposes, but I highly recommend it if you're a Star Wars fan. Whether you're a big toy collector or not, the other thing that's nice about this is it's a complete recreation of the original wave of figures. If that's all you want, you got it, you can be done. You don't have to stress about all the future releases and what you might or might not want. Hello. But this is a really cool set, so thank you so much, Hasbro, for sending this. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. May the 4th be with you.